because I'm used to being on a stage in a place screaming.
Are you ready?
Yes. Sure. Also, I'm going to be on t-shirts. You're supposed to come on doing the shimmy. That's fine. That's why we're dancing. It's a bit late. This is like the news where we do a 3 hour before we look at the camera. I need some papers.
Live! Hello everybody and welcome to Who at the Hilbre 2015. I say welcome, you've all been here all day. We are the Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds podcast, and as usual, we do a little bit of a live thing while you enjoy your lunch, sit in the queue, well stand in the queue, and go and get lots of lovely autographs from the lovely guests that we have here today.
And buy photo tokens for
yes.
£2 a pop.
£2 a pop, you say?
£2 a pop.
And they're also available over in the corner there from Sally.
And raffle tickets, they're £1 a strip apparently.
£1 a strip, these raffle tickets?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, lots of wonderful prizes up for grabs.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And also there will be an auction later, believe it or not.
Oh, is there?
It's a fab charity auction where you can buy some amazing prizes.
Raising lots of money for Cancer Research UK.
Indeed, indeed. And I believe up for grabs today we have some great prints by Gavin Rymel, who has done some wonderful prints of his covers for Doctor Who magazine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I suppose we should introduce ourselves though.
We probably should though, yes. Hello, I'm Mike Bell and I am one of the hosts of the Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds podcast, and I've also been responsible for your video entertainment today. To my left is...
The one that always gives a false name.
Yeah, that's Andy Weirs.
Yes.
The beardy one. And
the non-conformist.
The less beardy one is to my far left.
Hello, I'm Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Eyebrows.
Okay, that's Paul Griggs. You've already seen him today. He's been interviewing. And I just want to say, first of all, before we move on, I actually do quite a decent Sean Connery impression. Jason says no one can do an impression of his dad, but I think that he's wrong. I can do quite a good one. Seriously.
Well,
the lines that we normally use, we cannot use here, though.
No. So, there you go.
Want to hear his proper impression, go and listen to us proper.
I was going to do the whole podcast as Sean Connery, but then Jason said at the last minute he was coming. So that kind of buggered up my plans. So, anyway, but we are...
He managed to find his grandson.
Anyway, we're going to do kind of a cut-down version of our usual show, which you can find on iTunes. Go and search it out. It's the Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds podcast. Yes, that's right. Thanks, Graham.
Thank you, Graham.
He's never listened. Yeah, we're on iTunes. Go and check us out. You can also find us 50footnerds.co.uk, pcn.panelsonpages.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, all those places. Go and look for us. Go and find us. Go and listen to us and love us. Anyway, we're going to start the show now. Let's talk about some people in geekdom, shall we?
People in geekdom. There's normally sounders here, but we're having to make them up because we're live.
Yes. We do normally play strange sounders, which includes, well, I'll do one live for you in a minute. But the first story we're going to do today is we're going to talk about everyone's favourite mentalist in comics, Mr. Stan Lee.
Oh boy!
And now, Mr. Marvel himself, Stan Lee. There you go, that's his sounder.
Yeah.
Right. iPad
is he up a tree again?
It's decided to jump off the internet, so I need to get it back. There we go. Right, Stan Lee, Mr. Marvel himself, created Spider-Man, Iron Man, co-created, basically rebrought.
Get a household object, add man to the end of it, and he created it.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Incredible.
Saucepan Man!
Basically anything that you've been to see in the pages over the last 5 years, he created it.
Yeah.
And
even Batman.
No, well, not Batman. No, Batman. To be fair, Batman is coming next year. So you know.
Quite frankly, Stan Lee created more of Batman than Bob Kane did.
Hey. Anyways, yes, Stan Lee published a book a number of years ago, an autobiography. It was called Excelsior.
Yeah, I've read it. I've talked about it on the podcast.
Is this the one where he had the photo of him like
ladies?
Yeah.
One, yeah, where he's lying in front of it on a bearskin rug in front of.
He's recently been hiking.
He's like, hello. I've been hiking for years, stuff. But Stan has decided to work on a new autobiography.
Okay.
Stan, you know, he's worked in comics all his life. you would think, oh, if he's doing an autobiography, why not do it as a comic book, a graphic novel, if you will? No, he wrote a normal book, but now he's doing a memoir in pictures. It's going to be called The Amazing, Fantastic, Incredible, a Marvelous Memoir. That's my Stanley impression. Stan's 92 years old and still climbing trees. Basically, all he does these days is climb trees, have cameos, and go, oh boy, spider friends, I'm not well, can't come to your convention.
Pretty much.
Yeah. He's collaborating with artist Colleen Doran and writer Peter David on the book, and is quoted as saying, as Marvel's just celebrated its 75th anniversary, I thought maybe it's time for a look at my life in one form that has never been depicted. As a comic book! Yeah, Stan Man, that'll do! It's going to be a graphic memoir, which presumably means he's going to be talking about his sex life and his time that he was a hitman for the CIA.
all of the panels are just covered up by big boxes that just say NSFW.
Yeah. It strikes me as a horrendous oversight that I haven't done it before. And if I didn't know everything about my life already, I'd envy your voyage of discovery, spider friends. So,
remember that issue of 2000 AD where Judge Dredd showed his face but he censored it out?
Yeah, that was Stanley. It was Stan under the mask. He's like, I'm the law.
No, in his memoir, that's going to be every panel of Stan Lee from the waist down.
Ladies.
They did a Judge Dredd villain called Stan Lee, didn't they? A martial artist from Nipsit or whatever they called it back in the day. That wasn't racist at all. Yeah. But yeah, so he looks like...
well said, he's from Cheekville, for God's sake.
He looks like Bruce Lee, but they called him Stan Lee.
Fair enough, yeah. Jesus Christ. Stan says that when they asked about the popularity of the superheroes he's created, he has to say, I have to pinch myself all the time to make sure I'm not imagining it all. To be fair, he's 92 years old. If he pinches himself, his arm will fall off. Yeah, pussy man, that'll do. He says, to write something and then, to write something and then talk to people who care about what you've written is a wonderful feeling. I can't even express how grateful I am to be here in a position where I can to meet fans who enjoy the work I do. Excelsior!
I'm just waiting for...
You know we've only got an hour.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the day when he'll marry a crazed fan. Well, he's married already, but a crazed fan will marry him with the plan. You know, did you hear about that? Bronson got married in prison and all that.
Yeah.
Charles Manson. Didn't
Charles Manson, that's him, yeah.
Charles
Bronson.
I got a death wish.
It involves a cult.
Hey, there's a party at Sharon Tate's house.
To Jonestown.
Too soon?
Yeah. I'm mixing up
too soon and people who are dead. Let's move on to our Graveyard Dead section. My son is dead, my son is graveyard dead. Graveyard dead. Graveyard dead.
Yeah, no, sadly, as has been announced last Sunday, the great Sir Christopher Lee, the master of horror himself, died at the age of 93 after being hospitalised for respiratory problems and heart failure. Now, I could have written an obit myself, but quite frankly, this thing that I've got off the internet is... It's the best.
Let's just clarify in front of Paul. No, it's not something that you got off the internet. Something that I found on the internet and gave.
Well, it's more the fact.
Well, I had seen it as well.
This is typical. Yeah. This is typical of us. It's like this great movie like hero
icon
guy. Yeah.
Hero.
It's like, how shall we memorize him? I know, a meme.
Yeah, a meme. Let me read this. Sir Christopher Lee. He was Dracula. He was a Bond villain. He was Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes. He was Death. He was Lucifer. He was Count Dooku. He was Saruman. He was Lord Summerisle. He recorded heavy metal concept albums under the name Charlemagne.
Yes.
I knew you'd like that. He hunted Nazis during World War II. He was part of a secret agent unit called the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I want to see that film. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I want to see that film. When told by Peter Jackson to imagine how a man being stabbed in the back sounds, he told him he didn't have to imagine it. He was fluent in English, Italian, French, German, Spanish, moderately proficient in Swedish, Russian and Greek, and conversational in Mandarin Chinese, and he could probably get by in Elvish.
Yeah, I remember once reading something where he is actually fluent in the black speech of Mordor.
Yeah, I was reading that it was Ian McKellen put up a little obituary kind of thing saying, I remember when I met him at Lord of the Rings, and he was saying that they sat down together in a meal at Peter Jackson's house, and Christopher Lee sits down and goes, I always thought that I would play Gandalf one day, and Ian McKellen's like, well, I'm playing him instead in this, and Christopher Lee just turns around and he's like, Osh, Star Wars, it starts talking to him in black speech of Mordor. He's like, okay. My one nitpick about Lord of the Rings with regards to Saruman is the fact that he continues to play Saruman the White even after he's been outed as a minion of Sauron. Whereas in the book he becomes Saruman the Many-Coloured. It's like, you imagine he coming out with a big rainbow-coloured dress. I was like, hello, welcome.
He ended up looking like Colin Baker.
Welcome to Isengard. God.
Oh, many people have.
Yeah, but then you bring up the problem that everyone will start hating
the white hand of Saruman.
No, I was going to say it's more the fact that then the Ents look like the homophobes.
We call it Ents boot. We call it gay bashing.
No, it wouldn't work.
No.
Wouldn't work. You can see why they cut it out now.
Yeah.
Call him Saruman the Black, and then
I'm a pimp.
No, I was thinking more that then it ends up looking like like Sauron is basically the Mysterons.
This is the voice
of Christopher Lee.
But many people, famous people, paid tribute to him, including Sir Roger Moore, who took to Twitter to say,
hello. So sorry to hear that hashtag Christopher Lee has passed away.
James Bond. We were just talking about Bond earlier.
Yeah, he was a fascinating person. Threw a big pen into a tree in front of me. Hashtag legend.
I like the fact that Christopher Lee now has a hashtag attached to his name.
Yeah, I mean, Scaramanga, I think, is pretty much the first thing I would remember him from. I can't think of anything prior to that I'd have seen.
He's Dracula.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd have seen a Dracula film before I saw a Bond film.
I become so
In this conversation, I feel like such a new. The first place I ever saw him was Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
you didn't even see him in bloody I am Count Dooku. No, because I before. No, it was 2002. Second
So I saw those, and then that was when I was like, "Hey, this guy's cool. I'm going to look back at it."
I will attack you with my lightsaber.
Dracula.
So Christopher Lee had a fight with Yoda.
yeah.
What the hell?
And he had both his arms cut off by Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Do it. And his head.
That's what the Emperor said. Like, do it. Kill him. Kill the little bitch. That's what he's like.
The truth is that Christopher Lee has finally died because somebody exposed him to sunlight.
I loved him, the Emperor.
But he'd be graveyard dead, and he will always be remembered.
He will always be. Well, to be fair,
according to Twitter, apparently as Gandalf.
Are we sure that he's graveyard dead? Has anyone actually put a stake through his heart to be saying, it's the only way to be sure? It's the only way to be sure.
And decapitation.
Yes. Kill shot. 2 in the head. Anyway, speaking of 2 in the head, so let's who shot first. Let's move through. Nice segue there to film news. Let's talk about Star Wars.